And now I'm going to share screen. This was our last fan club. I want everybody to see this. I hope you've got some things that you're working on for 2018 that are going to make a difference for you. Hopefully you can see my screen. Whether it's read a book, top right, show your swagger. You guys keep in mind that you're working for a company that's one of the fastest growing real estate companies in the Coldwell Banker family, and we need to be proud of that. Here in Sun Valley, we almost doubled our size and our production in 2017, so we are very excited about that. And any noises you hear coming from here, Teresa's right over there. She's very noisy today, so that's where that noise is coming from. Anyway, everything from show your swagger to what's your game changer. Robert just closed on a $1.2 million something or other in Vail, so he doesn't maybe even need game changers. Congratulations, Robert. Gratitude. I love this one in the lower right here. Real estate is a contact sport. Learned that from Jill Hickson when she was in Grand Junction. You're not going to do anything if you're not out there making contacts, making your calls. So keep in mind, MDs, OMs, agents, real estate is a contact sport. I love that. Affirmations. Be of service. Are your clients raving fans? I'll reiterate that what we try to do in 2017 is make our agents raving fans of corporate services. I think we've done a nice job of that. Teresa keeps saying 4.6. I think that was our average on all of those things out of 5, which is great. Now your job in 2018 is to make your clients raving fans of you, so they can't help but go out into the bar and say, oh, you got to use Robert. He's the best. That's what you want. Have raving fans in your client base, and maybe write a mission statement. Okay, that was just what I was hoping you can do for 2018, some of the things that we're working on here in Sun Valley. I think I'm going to close that window, and I don't want to share that. Okay, sorry about that. We're going to keep sharing. Jesus. Give me just a second to get my IQ back up. Okay, sorry about that. So we should be back. You should be seeing everybody again. What I'm going to walk through is everything from getting a new listing all the way through closings. Here's the deal. Here's the issue. We have 7 offices in 3 states with different rules and different personalities and different ways of doing business. I understand that. Jennifer, ROM in Sun Valley, has a very efficient and effective way of handling transactions with our agents. It doesn't mean that's how Liz in Vail wants it done, and Rick, and it doesn't mean that's how Daisha and Chuck do it, and it doesn't mean that's how Margaret and Keith do it, and Alan and Lisa and Ashley and Jeff, and etc. So what I'm saying is not written in stone, but it's sort of a base for us to start. If your OMs and MDs want it done differently, they trump any of what we're saying here, but I think we're all going to be speaking pretty much the same language. That being said, if you have any better ways of doing it, or any ways, OMs and MDs, that your office does it you think are more effective and efficient, by all means jump in and let's share that, because the whole point of the fan club is to share best practices and make everybody better at what they do. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again since that went away. Exit page. Jeez. Yuck. I'm going to go right here. Oh my God. Okay, let's say you are lucky enough to be as charming as Robert McHugh in Montrose and get a new listing. You've done all the work, you've made the contacts, and now these people say, I want to list with you. This should be basic. I understand, but what I want to do is make sure that everybody knows the basics, because if we try to do algebra without knowing how to add, we're in trouble. Okay, so you have a new listing. The first thing for most folks is that you're going to want to get a CV marketing package going, because that's how you get your photos. That's what gets, God, this isn't going to work. I'm going to be sad. Go away. That's what gets the photographer going. And we're going to show you right now how to make sure, how to do that. Okay, so you've got a new listing, you've got the marketing agreement, the people are all set up. You need to let them know, look, it's going to be a little bit before it goes live because we have to go get the photos. I can't say, oh, it's going live tomorrow if you don't have photos, because you don't want to put something out to the MLS with a photo of a fence and nothing else. You want your new listing to come on with bravado, with chutzpah, with swagger, because it shows all the other agents out there that A, you know what you're doing, and B, this listing is worth looking at. If it's just one photo and you jumped the gun, you've made a bad impression to your seller, to the MLS, to other agents, and to other clients out there that were thinking, oh, I should use this person to list. I'm not going to list with him if he's only giving me one photo. And Teresa just jolted me that there is a minimum of 6 photos needed for us to get it live on IQO and on your MLSs. Okay, so we're talking about that CV package. Where do you go get that? In your IQ office, which all of you have access to, you log in with R Schilling and then whatever your password is. You come to your homepage. This drop down here with this chain link is where all of these things live that you need. And in order to do a marketing package, and if you're not doing a marketing package, shame on you. It's the best deal in the real estate world. It is the best deal in the real estate world. Pro photos, postcards, Facebook posts, everything you would need to be a pro listing agent lives there for an unbelievably discounted price. Unfortunately, Jennifer, ROM here, takes the hit in her salary, but it's worth it, okay? How do I get to that? How do I get to that? This is done alphabetically, and since I'm a Sun Valley person, I don't have the Bozeman CV package, but whatever your town, whatever your market is, it's going to show up right here. CV Valley, Sun Valley CV1, CV2, CV3. What's the difference? Service, amount of things you get, cost. Probably 80% of our listings can get by with a CV1. You get the photos, you get the postcards, you get the Facebook posts, you get the flyers. CV2 is for a nicer listing. CV3 is for that luxury listing that needs all the bells and whistles, including placement in magazines and so forth, and so on and so forth. So let's say I'm doing a CV1 because I've got a $250,000 condo listing and I don't need to go all out on it. So I click CV1 and I wait for a moment. IQO has been a little bit slow in 2018, so we're working with them on that, on speeding up their service. Come on, okay. Here's what the CV1 marketing submission form is, and we will update these so that they say 2018. And please keep in mind, if anyone has any questions, jump in. Don't use the chat because I'm not looking at the chat while we're sharing screens, but just jump in and say, what did you just do? Okay, all right. So you put your information in here. It's the basic stuff. Your market photographers will be in here, okay? You choose one of those. Mailing areas for marketing materials, because we send out a just listed postcard. That's one of the beautiful things about this. Not only do you get the listing, but everybody in that area that you're farming or in this area of the listing gets to know that you have a new listing. All this information needs to be here. Best practice is to have this on a Word document somewhere and then paste it in here, because once you put it in here, you can't come back and get this. So if you write your ad copy in here, oh man, that was awesome. That's the best ad copy I ever wrote. Send. It doesn't live anywhere else. So put it in a Word document first, paste it into here so that you don't lose it from your computer. Okay? That's the best practice there. And here's some instructions, as well as if you're missing Todd's face, you can click play here and find out all about it. In Sun Valley, this CV1 is $149. Just to get the photos alone in Sun Valley would be $275 just to get the photos. So you're already saving 50% off of what the photographer would charge you to get photos of a crummy condo, plus all these other things that you get right here. So this is why this is the best deal in the real estate world. I am 100% convinced of that. All these things you get, okay? All right, office use only. This is how you submit your CV package, okay? If you have any questions about this, your OMs are very schooled in this, and your OMs keep track of people that are ordering CV packages. Last year we did over $1 million worth of CV packages. And what I would say, and I think we'll have these numbers soon, is that the CV packages equal sales. Like, there's a correlation. And it's not that you can't sell if you don't use these, but the correlation really exists. That when you do these things and your listings are pro, you sell more of your listings. That has been what we have found. Okay, so that's how you do your marketing package. Yes, I'm going to leave this site. Okay, back to this. Okay, keep an eye out. All right, so once those photos are taken, they get sent to you and to marketing in Grand Junction, okay? Once that happens, then the marketing program gets kicked into gear, and the promotional pieces will be coming to you. Keep your eye out for because nothing can happen unless you say, that looks good, Fern, let's go ahead and go to print. So if you're wondering, where the heck are my flyers? It's been a week. Check your email because it's probably in there and you've maybe missed it, but they can't go forward unless they hear from you. Once you get the photos, you can do your MLS input. This is, again, some OMs maybe, I don't know, might do this for an agent. I think an agent is best served by doing their own MLS input. Even if an OM is doing it, the agent still has to say, make it live. So I think agents, you should be in the habit of doing your own MLS input. Lead with strong photos, et cetera, et cetera. You've all heard that from me before. Here's the next thing. Once it's in the MLS, then you have to create the transaction in IQO. Why is this?
They do the new listing
They
form.
do the new listing form so that this new listing lives in IQO. And it's in the same place that we found the marketing package. Drop down link, okay? Sun Valley new listing form. If you're in Montrose, it's going to be up a little higher because it starts with M. Bozeman, you'll be up at the top. Vale, you're down near the bottom. But what you do is you go to Sun Valley new listing form, click on that. I know you're thinking, well, I just entered this into the MLS, so I have to double it. Yeah, you do, because the MLS lives here and our system lives here, and we need to make sure that we have the information necessary. So the MLS number here.
That's the only way the OMs know you have a new listing.
That's right.
Yep. That's the only way the OMs know you have a new listing, because the OMs aren't required to check the MLS every day. They're not doing the hot sheets. So this is what tells Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties, the brokerage which you have smartly hung your hat on, that you have a listing. Okay? So this is, it's a long form, but it's super simple. MLS number. If you're doing this before the MLS goes live, just put what?
You can put the date that you're thinking it's going to go live so that the OM knows when to look for it in the MLS.
Okay, so you can fill this out, but the MLS number will have to go in here at some point. Your name, source of client, so we can keep track. Okay, property type, lots of choices here. Property address. So even though it's a long form, it's 2 seconds per section here. Listing commission, try to get a 7 in there if you can. That would be awesome. Seller name, seller email. We're not going to reach out and contact them, but we want this stuff so that we have a database of the people that we're doing business with. Showing instructions, referral, and we'll get to referrals in a little bit here, but if it is a referral, click yes here. Property photos, I hope it's a CV package. Property video, so going down. Okay, now here's the next step. In June, we unveiled, no, it wasn't June. In August, I think we unveiled the transaction coordination, which is another phenomenal deal in the world of real estate. You can't get this type of service for anywhere near this price. Someone please mute themselves. If you want our transaction coordination, the concierge service that will chase signatures, set up things, make sure all the things are being done, you can order that right here in the new listing form. Basic package is $150. If you end up double siding it, it goes up 50 bucks. Premium package, $200. That comes with a back rub, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the elite package comes with new ski boots. I don't know. We can send this out what the differences are. That's not the point of this. The point is, though, this is where you order your transaction coordination. Keep in mind that because we have the best OMs in the world, well, at least 5 really good OMs, and Jennifer, we also keep track of your transactions. Nothing's going to fall through the cracks if you don't order this stuff. But if you want all this stuff done for you, you order this and we take care of it. Christina Sadler manages this from the Grand Junction office. So no matter your market, we can be your transaction concierge. It's a great service. We want to see more people using it. We've had very good results here in Sun Valley. So if it's working for Sun Valley from Grand Junction, you know it's going to work, especially in Colorado. Okay? So then you click submit. And that's how the transaction is now within the Coldwell Banker world. Okay? All right. So that's all the new listing stuff, I believe.
One thing I want to stress about this, so that you're submitting that new listing form so that your OM can set up your transaction. The transaction cannot be created until your listing is live in the MLS. So if you choose to fill out that form early and tell us an expected date when it's going to go live, it's okay to do that, but it's much better if you wait to fill out that form until it's actually live, and then we will get your transaction in place at that point. But there will be no transaction until it's actually live in the MLS, so just know that.
Okay, so it is a little bit of front-end work, but think of one as the game itself and think of the other as putting the uniform on to play the game. You can't play the game if you're not in uniform, and if you're not in uniform, you're not going to play the game. I don't know, maybe that's a bad way to think about it, but you got to do two of these pieces. Huh? Teresa hated that one. And then your transaction will then live in IQO. Where does that happen, sir? You go to your financial, and then you go to My Transactions. Once all that stuff is submitted, then it lives here in your transactions. IQO, and I'm sorry about this, there's nothing I can do about it because they're from Nevada. What are you going to do? For them, transaction means a listing.
Or under contract.
Or under contract. But
it's all of it.
Like I think of transactions as something that's under contract, but for IQO, it's a transaction as soon as it becomes a listing.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is where you're going to find anything out about your transactions. You can also come into your listings here, but this is where all those documents get uploaded. Okay? Okay. Any questions about any of that? That's part one of getting a new listing. If you're doing your own photos, well,
please don't.
Happy to hear. Okay. Next thing, once you get a listing or once you've got a buyer, you're going to go under contract because that's how good all of you are. And so under contract is the next step here. And if anyone's like, wait a second, you forgot all about blah, let me know now and we'll address that. Anyone feel like I'm jumping too far ahead? I don't want to talk about open houses. I don't want to talk about, advertising or anything like that because this is all about transactions. Listing, now we go to under contract. You can go under contract one of two ways. As the listing agent, you've got a listing and some other agent has brought you a buyer and you agreed on an offer, contingencies, whatever, but you're under contract. Or you're working with a buyer and you found them something in your market that they like and you're under contract with them. So a little bit different, but they both sort of operate the same way. There's not a whole lot of difference in terms of what we're going to do in IQO once you're under contract, okay? There's an under contract form in IQO. Oh, and guess where it lives? You're right, in the chain link fence. Why is it a chain link icon? Because this links you to everything you need. Maybe that's the right way to think of it. I don't know. Stephen Schiff, I know you're on this. It looks a little bit like a bike chain. I'll go with you on that. That's pretty good. Where does that live? Well, let's make sure we find it. It lives in your market under contract form. So Montrose under contract form, Bozeman, Vail, Steamboat, whatever. It's going to be right here under contract form. And it looks a lot like the other ones. Okay? Your answer. It's like a game show here. Estimated close date. What is your answer, sir? Yeah. Okay, you get the prize. So all this stuff needs to be entered. Again, it looks long, but it's 5 minutes. And seriously, if you feel like, I'm doing now triple entry, this is what agents have to do, I think, regardless of what company you're with or whatever. You have to be putting in the information about what you're doing. Here's where it gets a little bit weird. If you're the listing agent, right, and you're going under contract with a list, not as with a buyer, you'll know the buyer's agent and the brokerage, but you may not know the buyer's first and last name.
You'll know that. You may not know their.
Sorry, you'll know their name, but you might not know their address and phone number. That's why these are not required. You may not know what their, this should not be required actually, because you may not know what their issue is. Okay.
Regardless of what side you're on.
Okay, so what do we fill in here if we don't know anything about the buyers? Because if you haven't brought the buyers, you might not know what their deal is. So
I'd say typically repeat home buyer is going to be the most common.
Okay, so by default, click this, repeat home buyer. If you really want to be accurate, you can ask the the buying agent where they're coming from. But this is required by Coldwell Banker, even if you aren't bringing the buyer. Sorry, it's a little bit cloudy there, but just put in repeat home buyer. We'll mess with NAR stats. It's kind of fun. Listing commission. If a team or group, please specify split. Selling commission, because this is the work you're doing with the agents, right? So, and short sale. So a lot of these are just simple little things. Should take 2 or 3 minutes. Here's where, again, you can order transaction concierge service. Remember, it was on the previous form.
Button for potential buyer. Maybe we have an other button or something like that.
We can put an other button, yes. Good suggestion. We'll put it down here, maybe at the bottom, so that, or maybe unknown or something like that, because we don't really want to put the wrong thing. So we'll.
Or put other agent or something, or cooperating agent or something like that. Yeah.
Or uncooperative agent is the case may be for some folks. Before I go to the transaction concierge service, add to client follow-up program. Is there any, Shawnee or an OM, can any of you speak to this little section here, what this does? T can.
I can.
Yay.
Yeah, Teresa,
Time for T.
can chime in.
So
Go ahead, Shawnee.
go ahead, Shawnee. Do you want to do it? Who's that? Okay, so there's a couple of the
Thanks,
options.
T.
The 3-year and the 5-year. It's through a company out of Kansas City, and it's a personal marketing. And what they do is it's literally you sign up for 3 years worth of mailings that your client will receive. The form lives in IQ office, or wait, IQO, as Derek likes to say. It has to be filled out and submitted, and you would need to add all the information for the buyer. It gets sent in once the property closes, and then the agent is responsible for the $12 or the $15.
And what it does really is it just keeps you, the agent, in touch with the client. And it's like a set it and forget it, you know. And so for 3 years or 5 years, you're in touch with them for $15. So if you do the math, it's like $3 a year. And if you do the math even farther than that, it's like 40 cents a month. Good stuff.
Yeah. And and there's a follow-up campaign as well in IQ office that can be, you can sign your buyer up for that as well. It's an email.
Yeah. So if you have questions about this, email Rick. No, ask your OM. Rick's going over this one. He's like, yeah. Yeah, email Elizabeth. Yeah. Hey, you two, you know when you point a finger, you're pointing 3 at yourself, right? Oh, you point that way. Okay, here's where you can order the distinctive transaction coordination. Maybe you didn't do it when you brought a listing on. That's fine, but now that you got something under contract, maybe this is where you want it to kick in. Now you can order it. Bob, I'll stop being boring in a second here. This is where you can order some transaction concierge service. Again, if you've double-sided something, all of a sudden you want people to be doing stuff for you, click on this. Double-sided would be $200. It's a great deal. This is office use only, and then submit. That's where you do your under contract form. Again, where did I find that? I found that in the link, because this links me to everything I would ever need. CB1s, new listings, under contracts. There's also trainings here. There's also digital filing system stuff. There's ways to order your Business Ignite, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? All right. So
I just want to hop in here and stress that just like the new listing form, the under contract is what triggers the transaction to be created for you. So if you get your listing under contract, or you have a buyer that you now put under contract, you have to fill out that form in order for the transaction to be created for you. Nothing happens until you fill out that form. So that's a really critical step in all of this.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of Jennifer, in other words, that's the only way the OMs know something went under contract. We're not chasing and keeping on top of your listing. So that's how we get a notification to then in turn put you into IQ as that status.
Yes.
So the transaction gets created in IQO and lives in financials, my transactions. When you have documents to upload, everything from your, whatever they're called,
Any of the contract, seller, property disclosure, whatever, all of the contingency releases, all of it.
You go to my transactions, and I'm not an agent, so if I click on this, it's going to say, you don't have anything, you're a loser. But this is where you upload your documents. What?
Just main transaction.
Maybe.
For you, you'll see them.
Okay, right. And I don't want to betray anyone's confidentiality or privacy here, but we're going to try to look at a transaction. IQ slow. IQ slowfus. Okay. Everybody make like a bat and hang with me here. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's where your transactions live, and to do anything, go away. You would.
It looks a little different.
Yeah, this looks different. I don't want to get into this. If you don't know how to put things into your IQO, that's good OM. That's some good OM time for you. But make sure you're uploading everything into your IQO transaction or using your OM to do that for you. But please don't assume your OM is going to do it, because, again, every office has their own structure. And, in fact, within the offices, some agents in the OMs have their own structure. Make sure you know what your structure is for getting your transaction documents into IQO. I see Elizabeth laughing. What I want to say is it's not like the OM is not there to enter everything for you. Okay, that's not their job. Their job is to watch over things, let you know if something's not completed, but it's not to do all of this work for you. Okay? All right. If it's your listing, make sure you do this. There's nothing more frustrating. Well, there's a lot of things more frustrating. It's really frustrating if you've put something under contract, but you haven't let the MLS know. You haven't gone in and changed its status in the MLS, because you owe it to all the other agents out there to let them know, A, you've got something under contract because you're such a busy beaver, and B, that they shouldn't be, or that they should up their activity about it. Oh, it's under contract. Can I still see it? Whatever. Also, if you have agents you know that have been looking at one of your listings, please do the courtesy of calling them and letting them know you've put it under contract. It's happened a couple times here in Sun Valley lately where something went under contract and they didn't call an agent. And this agent had people flying in from California to see this, and it was under contract. They still saw it, but it loses a little bit of luster. So be courteous. Always be the professional in these situations. It makes a great statement to all the other agents out there working for Keller Wilson and Bry and whatever other companies are out there. Okay, and then just speaking of being a professional, monitor your transaction in IQO and upload docs as needed. Again, your OM will be doing this for you too, but all these places are really busy right now. We're tearing the roof off, and so you can't expect your OMs to be able to keep track of everyone's transaction right now. So this is the under contract, and some of these will last 7 days, some of these will last 7 months. Okay, any questions about this step? That's 2 out of 4. We've gone through the harder ones, I think. Any insights, anything that any agent out there has done better or more effectively or radically different that would be helpful for us? Okay, excellent. Elizabeth, are you okay?
Oh, they're frozen.
No, you're frozen. Is everybody frozen?
No.
No, okay. All right. Upon closing, and this is what we love to see, lots and lots of closings. I know here in Sun Valley we have about
Can I interject on the Becky lost? Oh, I'm sorry. We lost mission.
I think Christy Reese had 155 or so in Montrose. It seemed like. Grand Junction, how many did you have? What did I say? Montrose. Oh, I meant Grand Junction. Grand Junction had probably 1,000 transactions. I don't know. Anyway, upon closing, if it's your listing, update its status in the MLS, because everybody wants to know all the good work you've done. If you've ordered a CB marketing package at the front end, keep an eye out for just sold proofs that should be coming to you within a couple days, 3-4 days of your closing. Again, these things will not go out.
Derek?
Yeah.
Okay. On the just sold postcards, those are executed and processed every Monday. So we get a weekly report from the office managers. Fern will then take that Monday and do your just sold postcards. So just so you guys are clear, it's a weekly thing that we do. If it's on that report, then it will get processed for that week.
Hold on.
Right. Yeah,
what is this report? Does that come from the report that the OM submits saying who sold?
Yes.
Yes.
We do every
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's a good correction there. So these just sold postcards get going on the Monday after the sale. Okay.
Is it possible to get a just sold postcard if we're a buyer's agent as well?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Because I've only had it offered if it's my listing, not if I had the buyer. Though.
Right. It's part of the CD package when you have a listing. Shawnee, what's the process if you've done it from a buyer's side?
You would just need to send that request over to marketing. You'll need to provide a photo of the listing since we probably will not have it. And then we have verbiage on there that just says you represented the buyer on this transaction. You know, if you have any questions or anything like that. So we can use standard verbiage, or you can actually submit verbiage that you'd like to use as well. But yes, you can order postcards as a buyer's agent. We will just process that and then invoice you on your monthly statement for it.
Okay. Okay. It'd be nice if it was part of the package, if that's possible.
Right. Well, there is no, you don't buy a package for buying, there's no buyer's marketing package. So this would just be an extra expense. It's, going to be, I don't know what it would be. Depends on how many you order, what size, whatever. But, and definitely leverage this. If you've sold something with a buyer, leverage that, because why not? Send it to the neighborhood that you brought the buyer to, or send it to one of your farming neighborhoods, even if it's nowhere close to where you brought the buyer, because people want to work with successful people. That's all there is to it. I mean, look at Jennifer. She wants to work with me.
That's overestimating, and that's it there.
Okay, I had the wrong email here, sorry. Marketing coordinator at coldbankersv.com is the best way to reach marketing, okay? So and that's where things will be coming from. So when you see that, it's not just some pitch. That's probably a proof or something that you need to respond to make sure that your marketing package stuff is coming through. Okay?
And may I interject on that either the agents think that it's junk or whatnot, but the process doesn't move along if the agents don't do their role as well, and that is to respond to these proof emails or to mailing lists and being, informed and keep it moving along. It's not always marketing or the OM that's slowing the process down. So you need to look for those proofs.
Yeah. Okay, so that is we don't want to send something out on your behalf if you haven't said okay.
We won't send something out.
Not only do we not want to, we won't. Okay.
So there we go.
Oh, and here's a big deal, and I don't think it's been a huge issue, but it comes up from time to time. If approved, you're not going to get your commission payment. Okay, so if you're wondering what the word is, it's probably because something in your transaction was not completed. Okay, there's closings that happen that we don't have all the documentation for, and this is for our audit. This is for just being a professional company. All that stuff needs to be in there before you can get your payment. Okay.
So you look at there's a checklist in the transaction that you can look at. You can see the status. That'll tell you if you're missing something. So you always go to the checklist in your transaction if you ever want to know something's missing or what the status is, if something hasn't been approved yet or what's going on.
Can I open one of these? Can I do one of these?
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't give you any proprietary data.
Let's see if I can show you exactly what we're talking about.
No, it's still not.
Processing.
But if you just click this one, it'll just tell you the green and the stuff.
Right.
So there's nothing.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get rid of this. All right. So this is where I'm going to find this stuff. This was a seller as opposed to a buyer. If it's a buyer, it's going to say buyer checklist and buyer documents. But this is where you keep track of all of your stuff. This is, again, in financial, my transactions. These are all the things here. Okay.
Yep.
Anything we need to say about that, OMs? Okay. Okay.
And I am going to interject really quick though. So one of the things, see where the send change notification button up there?
Right here.
Yep. So whenever either your office manager that's working on the transaction or your transaction concierge when there's something that's changed in there, they've uploaded a document, they've looked at it, they're accepting it or they're not accepting it. So it could be, for instance, you've got an amend extend in there and you're missing a signature. They're going to send you a send change notification, and when you get that email from IQO, it will literally have the checklist there and it will tell you what you need to do. You click on the link and it's going to tell you you're missing this signature for this document. As soon as you get that and you fix it and you've uploaded it, you do the same thing back to your the transaction. You do a send change notification and it's going to ping the manager for that transaction. Here it's Lisa. On this one that he's got up in Sun Valley, it's going to be Jennifer, it's going to be Liz. So that's how the exchange works, and it's super important that you click that send change notification because they won't know you've done something unless you do that.
Okay, good stuff there. So, and this is a lot that, we're talking about like 5 different systems here. I get that. But hopefully all of this is really familiar to you because we've been doing this digital filing system since June. We've been doing transaction coordination since August. We've been doing CV packages since like 2003. So hopefully all of this is feeling fairly familiar, and we're just trying to put it all in one nice bubble wrapped package. Okay? All right. That's the stuff on closing, unless, again, anyone's like, oh, wait, what about this? Anyone? Someone could mute themselves. There's a lot of background noise coming from someone. Okay. All right. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is referrals or special commission structure. So this doesn't come after closings. But I put it after closings because I didn't want to interrupt the flow that 90% of our transactions have. Okay, so this is like an addendum, and so if you've got referrals or something is different about your commission split and structure, these are the bullet points that we wanted to cover. Okay, if the listing comes to you via referral, there is a form in the IQO documents library. I'll show it to you in a second that you need to fill out and send to this brand new email address, referrals@coldwellbankersv.com. Okay, so you don't have to hit Teresa or we want you to CC your OM, but just use the referrals@coldwellbankersv.com and it'll go to Shawnee, who is now in charge of all the referrals and everything like that. Okay, well, wait a second. Where did you say that lives? All right, so I'm going to go home. Yeah, you wish. Okay, IQ slow in action. They made a New Year's resolution. I don't know what it was, but they made one. Okay, and the referral form lives in files. This is where all the forms you would ever need to do anything in your life lives in files. And Robert, I got to say, man, you look like the president of Vail when you're in your office like that. I swear to God, every time I look at you and you usually got like a scarf on or something, yeah. I just think, this guy's got it dialed in. Everybody, I hope you can see Robert because, man.
That's a fake background.
Yeah, he looks like a politician there.
Yeah, well, fake agents need fake backgrounds, so that's good. All right.
You need a big cigar and a whiskey glass. You know?
Yeah. All right, so files, documents, library. And I'm not gonna tell you to look here at newest documents because that'll change when we put new stuff in. There is a folder in here just called referral forms, and guess what's in there? Yep, you guessed it, referral forms. So there's 2 types of referrals. There's incoming referrals, Jennifer, which means what?
Incoming is when an agent outside of Coldwell Banker is bringing a referral to you agent here in Coldwell Banker. And then outgoing is going to be you, Coldwell Banker agent, sending a referral out to somebody else.
Okay, so incoming can be both a listing referral or a buying referral. Yep. Mm-hmm. Outgoing can be you've sent a buyer or a seller to some other agent somewhere out there in the world. Look at this. They're all customized for your market. Incoming referral from Bozeman. So anything you need here, you just click on this. It doesn't open automatically. I'm clicking on the incoming referral form Bozeman. And what it does is it basically downloads it. See down here? And so I want to open. this might not work because my open on this computer is super slow. At any rate, I open it, I'll fill it out, I'll save it to my desktop, and then I will email as an attachment to referrals@colabankersb.com as well as to my OM. See, oh, here it comes. Everybody just chill, make like popsicles, just chill. Oh, see the cup that Teresa got me for Christmas? Oh, it's backwards.
Oh, it's backwards.
It's still backwards.
Let's see.
And it's still
Now
backwards.
it's upside down. All right, it says I'm citing your grammar. Usually true. And then the worst thing is that someone else not in this office got me the exact same mug. So obviously I'm making a really good impression on people. All right, I'm not gonna make you sit through this. Anyway, here's where you get your referral forms. Save it to your computer, then attach it as an email to referrals as well as to your OM, and then all that referral stuff will be taken care of. If you're like, where is that thing? Ask your OM. It's in a very obvious place, which is your documents, library, referral forms down here. This is all alphabetical. If you have an hour where you're not doing anything, come down here and look in your office's folder and just see what's in there. Look in marketing materials, see what's in there. Look in education. There's tons of stuff in here about how to get smarter.
Look at you promoting yourself.
Yeah. Look at global luxury things, lead team, marketing materials. But anyway, the referral forms are right here. If you want to know more about what the transaction coordination really looks like, that's here. Okay, so all these things live for your perusal in Files, Documents, Library. Okay, back to this. So any referral action that you have, fill that form out, send it to referrals and your OM, and we'll be good. If your buyer, same thing. If your buyer comes to you via referral, same thing. It just comes later in the process. Well, if the buyer, if you got it, okay, I'll take that out. Same thing, okay? There's times when I'll argue with Teresa, and then there's times when she looks at me like this, and then I won't argue. Okay, last thing, if you have any special commission split, it's best to actually talk with your MD to make sure it's okay. But if you're doing a double-sided thing and you take a point off of each because you're getting 4%, I don't recommend that. But if that's what you're going to do, please, you're not necessarily getting permission, although that's probably the case. But walk through it with your MD.
It's required.
It's required to walk through it with your MD. I would even go so far as to walk through it with another agent whom you know has been in that experience and try to figure out how to not do that.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of work. Don't take cuts on your commission if you can help it. But if you have anything special, I'm going to add here, talk with your MD, then notify your OM in writing. Don't just walk by and say, oh, hey, I'm doing this at 2.25, okay? Okay, and then she went to go get a cup of coffee, or she had to answer an email to me, and then that is gone. It's in the wind. This has to be in writing. Email it to your OM. That way it's trackable. That way there's no confusion 2 months later when it closes and the commissions are wrong. And Teresa's like, and Darby, our new accountant's like, what's happening here? Because there was no record. So make sure that whatever your split, if it changes from the normal 3% or the normal, whatever you checked on the thing, remember you check on your contract, 2.5 or 3. If it changes from that, it needs to be talked over with your MD and emailed to your OM. And that's all I got to say about that.
So I'm going to jump in back to referrals for a minute.
This is Teresa Pemberton.
So just a couple of things. One, on the referrals are signed by Shawnee. They're not signed by you as agents. So they're signed by our relocation department. It doesn't matter who signs on the other end. So if you're dealing with CB residential brokerage and they have their broker sign it, that's fine. All of our referral forms, whether they're incoming or outgoing, are signed by our relocation referral department, which is now Shawnee. So that's one thing to remember and consider. All the documents have to be signed all the way around to be considered a true referral. And the last thing is when you're filling out the new listing form and the under contract form, there is a spot to note that there is a referral. It's real important that you do that and that you put in the percentage of the referral. So that's what we're using when we're doing the transactions to make sure that we're doing everything correct. We're not missing it. Yeah, it's on the new listing form of the IQ office. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a spot for a referral for both a new list, whether it's a listing or an under contract. It's super duper important. And even those of you that get referrals via the relocation companies, USAA, Cardis, in-house, we still need that information on those forms. It's super important. Otherwise, we miss them. We simply miss them. So please help us not do that.
I have a question. I have a question. I was wondering if you get, some of the agents sometimes will get a referral form from the other agent that's not a Coldwell Banker referral form. Can we use that in lieu of our forms? Okay.
Yeah, so if you're getting a referral, it's coming to you, an incoming, and it's coming from, you know, Bitcher Hathaway. Trying to be like you. Not very funny, was it? They should be sending you their form to fill out. They've already filled it out, then you're gonna put in the agent information and we're gonna sign it and send it back to them. Sometimes they don't do that. Sometimes they ask us to send the form. Our form is perfectly fine either way. Just remember that we have to have a referral form. It has to be part of the transaction and it has to be signed. Okay. Any questions?
Okay. Hopefully, that was a lot of stuff, but hopefully none of it was earth-shattering. And Teresa's exhausted, but hopefully all of that is just a refresher or just a tiny bit of glue in some of the cracks. I hope none of it was like, oh my God, I had no idea. Because you should have ideas about all 4 of these steps. Really, it's 3 steps, and then that last piece was if you've got a referral or if you've got a commission split. So who is the best place to, who are the best people to go to with this? Your OMs and your MDs, other agents. If you're struggling with some of the digital filing stuff, ask another agent because the answers are always right next door. You don't necessarily need to ask me, and not being an agent, that's why Jennifer and Teresa have been so wonderful today and others, because this isn't really my wheelhouse. I'm so glad that everybody else is able to jump in here because I'm not a transaction person, but there are people right next door to you, I'm sure, that can help you with 95% of this stuff. So that's transactions, I hope, A to Z. I hope we didn't go too far or not far enough. Are there any questions? It's like, oh, I was hoping to learn something about this today, or that didn't answer the question I've been struggling with, or what have you. I'm going to stop my share so we can see everybody here and hopefully get all of us back on. Hello. Okay, there we go. Okay. So I don't see anyone sleeping or they've stopped their video, so that's good. Any insights? Except for Elizabeth, is there anyone out there that has something for us?
I have an IQ suggestion. I know I'm stepping a little outside the box here, but because it kind of came to me through this meeting, Teresa, for IQ, it might be a good suggestion to have them build in dummy files so that when Derek or whoever does these things, you can actually walk through the whole process. And there's a dummy file created for tutorials. And then my second suggestion would be in the files area, make it so we can view them first before it just does an automatic download. That's all.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the dummy file because in Teresa's office, everything that's associated with me, like all my it's in something called the dummy file. So.
I have a quick question.
Hi, Happy New Year, Jody.
2 things. I don't know why I'm Shoshana.
I know, I'm like, who's Shoshana Tracker?
She was a friend of my daughter's who did a job interview on my computer.
Oh.
So I'm her now. I've assumed her identity. Anyway, so I don't know how to fix that. I know Keith fixed it once, but it keeps going back to me being her. But my main question was, when we're filling out the IQ office, the under contract forms and the new listing forms, does the buyers and sellers information by default go into our IQ office? All their information's in there. We don't have to go back in and enter it into our contacts. Is that correct?
No, when you're talking about filling out when you fill out the under contract form or the new listing form, the only thing it's doing is populating the spreadsheet for the OMs and the transaction folks to actually create the transaction. It's not talking to IQ Office.
Okay, so I mean, IQ Office is keeping track of the transaction under our financials, but it's not getting it into our contacts. Is that correct?
What it will do, Joni, is when we create the transaction, we'll search for the contact to see if it's there.
Okay.
So we're trying to find out whether or not you've already put it in. So in theory and realistically, you should already have the buyer and or the seller as a contact in your IQ Office. And then we'll search for it to make sure that, and then it connects the information. It fills it out for us. It'll tell us, certain things. But the forms, the links on IQ Office, when you're filling out those forms, that does not talk to IQ Office. That's just, those are separate. But you
I was hoping that it did, that it would be one less thing I had to do.
Doesn't. But you should already have the person in your CRM anyway, right?
Yeah,
your
hopefully.
seller, your buyer, once you make contact with them, before they go under contract, they should be in your CRM, in your IQ Office as a contact, is what I would recommend.
Okay. I decided, it'd be nice to kill two birds with one stone.
No, they don't talk. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. That was my only question. And now I'm the only client. So do I need to contact Zoom about that since it keeps changing back to this other girl?
Well, I've done it from my end here. Now you're Joni Klein, so maybe it'll stick. I don't know. Do you use Zoom fairly often?
Well, with Keith, I do coaching on it sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'd have to contact Zoom. And I encourage you to use this platform. It's free. You don't even have to sign up for it. You can just use it, zoom.com. If you're talking to people long distance, it's a great way to be face-to-face, share screens. There's even a function in here where you can own someone else's screen if they give you permission and drive their mouse. It's pretty amazing. I don't want to get into that right now, but use this.
He never lets anybody drive his mouse.
No, my mouse is only hey, everybody, I just wanted to make sure I said Happy New Year and thanks for great 2017, and let's make 2018 even better. So thanks for your hour of time today, and keep up the great work in all of our offices, and we'll see you next week with something even more fan clubby. Okay?
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Derek. Bye.
Bye.